Hello and welcome again. Today we are going to learn our first topic, that is introduction and basic concepts of business economics. So let's get started. So first we'll start with the meaning of the business economics. Now what is meant by business economics to you? Or business economics is also known as the microeconomics. Now microeconomics is the social science, as you can see the definition which is given by me, that the studies with the implications of incentives and the decisions specifically about those affect the utilization and distribution of resources. In short, we talk about the economics. When we talk about the economics, we say that economics deals with the allocation and distribution of resources, that is few resources, the limited resources and unlimited wants. The distribution of between these two stands for the economics. And when we talk about the microeconomics, then we specifically talk about the micro level implications and the incentives of the resources, isn't it? So let's take an overview of the microeconomical things which we see around. See, you must have seen a industry or you must have seen a production plant somewhere else. Okay, we talk about and we study that micro production plant where the labor gets allocated, where the capital gets allocated, and out of those inputs or by using these inputs, we create some uh, fine output. Like let's say we visit some today bottle factory. Okay, so bottle factory is made up of some factors of production like labor, land, capital. These are all our factors of production, and out of this we make a bottle, isn't it? So this is just a gist of the microeconomical definitions. Okay, now what is the nature of the microeconomics? How microeconomics is scattered around our economical subjects. Okay, so supply and demand. The first thing out of which microeconomics or the economics is made basically is the supply and demand. Here we will talk about the supply and demand. So what is meant by supply and demand? Let's take a look. Okay, so let's see, this is the curve. Okay, so this is a supply. Now this a graphical curve. Don't go on my diagram. So I'm using mouse, so it gets a little bit bifurcated. So this is your supply curve, isn't it? So this is your supply curve. So an economics is made up of some supply and demand. This is your demand curve, isn't it? So you have I can guess that you must have studied this supply and demand in your 10 plus 2 pattern. If not, then I'll teach you. Okay, so economics is made of supply and demand. That what is the supply in market and what is the demand in market. We basically analyzes these two problems. Okay, so then the pricing factor. Now what is mean by pricing? So everything which you buy in the market has some fixed price. Okay, isn't it? Fixed price. So this pricing stands for, uh, uh, I can say that, or we can say that price is a function of supply and demand. Now, what is meant by function? Now, what is meant by the pricing? These things will be taught you in upcoming sessions. Now, just understand the basic of these concepts. That the price stands for some amount of the money which you pay for buying certain commodities. Okay, let's say tomorrow you're going to buy a new and mobile phone or the smartphone for you for your online lecture. You have to pay some price for that mobile phone, isn't it? So the price which you will pay is the pricing of that commodity or that mobile. The pricing will be dependent upon the supply and demand of that mobile. Okay, so when we just to give you the introductory idea, when we represent supply and demand on the graph, it will look like this. Okay, so this is your supply curve, this is your demand curve. Okay, so and this is your equilibrium point. The point at which supply and demand collide with each other is your equilibrium point, isn't it? So supply and demand stands for the supply of the commodity in the market and the demand of the commodity in the market. Okay, now the third concept or the third type of nature of the microeconomics is the research and promotion. That the what the kind of research is happening around the market, that the market research, whether the market is pessimistic, whether the market is optimistic, whether the market is demanding commodity, whether the market is restraining itself from buying commodities. This kind of research happens This will be also taught to you in upcoming sessions. Okay. Now let's talk about scope of the microeconomics. Okay, the first is commodity pricing. The price of an individual commodity is determined by the market forces, demand and supply. I told you earlier also that the supply and demand are the largest factor which decides or which contributes in the pricing policy of the commodity. Okay, and the second topic is the factor pricing theory. Now, what is my factor pricing theory? There are certain theories developed by certain economists. Okay, about the pricing of a commodity. Now, the commodity pricing is dependent upon the surplus commodity or the surplus value or the commodity of the price of the inputs are much important in deciding the pricing of a commodity. To give you just a small example to you, let's understand that let's say you are going to buy a new bike for you or the new bicycle for you. Okay, now how the pricing of that bicycle will happen, or how the pricing policy of that company regarding that bicycle will be get decided. Okay, now let's understand that the bicycle is made in certain factories, isn't it? So that factory will require some land. Okay, that land will require some money to buy. Okay, so out of all these things that the factory, the inputs of that factory like the steel and the all other cements, etc., that the factory will made up of all those units. Okay, now you will require next thing is the labor, isn't it? To produce that cycle you need to have some manpower, and the manpower, when that manpower will work, then the result of that manpower will be your bicycle, isn't it? So the manpower, that is which is your, we call in the terms of economics to them, is the labor. Okay, your land is the portion of that factory upon which that factory is standing. Your capital, that is the money investment which we or the that particular entrepreneur is making into that factory, that the money will be important factor. Okay, so land, labor, capital, and the entrepreneur himself of the managerial activity, that like if let's say tomorrow I'm owning a factory. Okay, I have everything, man, labor, land, labor and capital, but I don't have a manager to look after those all the factors of production. Then I don't think that my production will happen efficiently, isn't it? So I need to have an entrepreneur. Okay, so in that case, let's say I'm an entrepreneur. Okay, so out of all these factors of production, your bicycle will be made, isn't it? So macroeconomics talk about all these things. Okay, and there are sometimes different theories which I told you that you will learn in upcoming lectures. So let's go to our next slide. That is that what is the difference between micro, okay, that this is micro, and what is the difference between macroeconomics? Now you I don't know whether you have studied macroeconomics in your 11th 12th or not, but lots of student makes many mistakes or faults in analyzing microeconomics and macroeconomics. They don't get a clear picture of what is meaning of microeconomics and what macroeconomics stands for. Now just to give you the brief idea of these two subjects, I've made a chart that the microeconomics stands for the individual market, and the macroeconomics stands for the whole economy. Now what is meant by whole economy, now what is meant by GDP. तो अगर आपको जीडीपी पता है तो कोई बात नहीं, अगर नहीं पता है तो आप वो भी सीख जाएंगे, लेकिन पहले हम बात करेंगे माइक्रो इकोनॉमिक्स के बारे में। इंडिविजुअल मार्केट, नाउ व्हाट इज मीन बाय इंडिविजुअल मार्केट? मैंने आपको तीन चार एग्जांपल दिया, आई हैव गिवन यू सम एग्जांपल्स ऑफ मोबाइल फोन, ऑफ द बॉटल्स, ऑफ द bicycles. Okay, तो दिस ऑल थिंग्स मेड अप देयर ओन मार्केट। अपन बोलते हैं ना कि लाइक मार्केट फॉर द स्मार्टफोन्स इज राइजिंग डे बाय डे due to covid or due to the corona. Markets for the laptop is rising day by day. So this is the individual market of that particular commodity. Okay, when we talk about the microeconomics, and when we talk about the macroeconomical things, then let's take an analogical example, that you are standing on a peak of a certain mountain, and you are looking at the scenery below that mountain. Okay, you will see all things, but you will not see the clear picture of all those things. isn't it? You will see some houses, you will see some trees, you will see some bikes are just traveling by that road. You will see some birds are flowing around, flying around. You will see some water is flowing. Okay, you will see some people are working in their fields. Okay, so you basically you are sitting on the top of that mountain. You are watching all those things. Okay, these things happens in macroeconomics. Sorry, but in microeconomics you will actually go there into that field where those people are working. We will actually visit those farms. We will actually visit those houses. Instead of standing on the top of that mountain, we will actually go those places and we will study them. Okay, we will study them at the micro level, so we talk about the microeconomics. Okay, then the second point is effect of or the effect on prices of goods. And here we talk about, or in macroeconomics, inflation. Now what is inflation? Inflation is basically rising in the prices of the commodity, but together all they made up the inflation. But here we talk about the elasticity concept, where we talk about the supply concept, here we talk about the demand concept of the particular commodity. Sorry. And the effect of those all factors on that, on the prices of that commodity. Okay, now the third topic, individual labor market. I told you that some people will work into that factory. Okay, so we will talk about those people only, but here in macroeconomics we will talk about the employment of all people working in all factories around the country. So much big picture is there, no? But in microeconomics it's very simple. We will talk about only those people. Okay, you take one factory, you analyze that factory, you study that factory, and you will work, or you will talk, or you will study of those people who are only working onto that factory, isn't it? It's very simple. So the individual labor market and the on individual consumer behavior will be studied into the microeconomics. Here we study the aggregate demand. Now aggregate demand is very important concept in macroeconomics. Okay, I teach macroeconomics also, but here I will talk about the microeconomics only. The individual demand. Okay, so let's say in the individual consumer behavior. Now what is in the consumer behavior? I told you that, or if I tell you that, let's say the prices of the laptops are increasing, or are on an increase due to coronavirus disease. Okay, now the consumer behavior is also changing. Okay, prices are not changing because of corona is there. Prices are changing because of people's behavior is changing. Now what is my behavior? Now there is another separate branch of behavioral economics in economics only, where we study the behavioral change of the people and the uh, expected impact of change of that changed behavior upon the economical things, or the on the economy. Okay, I will not talk about that. That is the completely different segment. But here we will talk about only the behavioral pattern of the people and its effect on the prices, its effects on the demand, its effect on the supply. Now why the prices of the laptop is changing? Because people's behavior is changing. People are going from offline to online, so their paradigm shift is happening, and that shift is bringing down, or the bringing some new changes into the economy, and so the prices of the laptops are on the verge of rise, isn't it? So these things will be studied here. And the last topic is supply of goods, and here is the productive capacity of the economy. Productive capacity of the economy. Now, what is my supply of good? Here only supply of laptop is lower than the supply of demand, so the demand, the prices of laptop is are increasing. It's very simple. But here in macroeconomics, economic study about the productive capacity of the economy, or the let's say the how much goods and the services are getting produced in this particular economy. These things get studied into the macroeconomics. So to just give a brief idea, इतना समझ लो कि माइक्रोइकोनॉमिक्स एक छोटा पेड़ है या फिर छोटी ब्रांच है इकोनॉमिक्स की। ब्रांच तो बहुत बड़ी है, लेकिन वो छोटे स्केल पे स्टडी करती है, बहुत डीप जाके स्टडी करती है, बहुत नैरो जाके स्टडी करती है। और मैक्रो इकोनॉमिक्स ये ऐसी ब्रांच है जो ऐसे ओवरव्यू लेती है, एक बड़ा वाला स्टडी करती है, इजंट इट? दोनों कोई कम ज्यादा नहीं है, कोई बड़ी छोटी नहीं है, बोथ आर इम्पोर्टेंट and both are contributing, both branches are contributing into the fields of economics. Okay, तो ये सारी चीजें मिला के पूरा इकोनॉमिक्स बोलता है। अभी इकोनॉमिक्स में बस माइक्रो इकोनॉमिक्स या मैक्रो इकोनॉमिक्स नहीं आता। इकोनॉमिक्स इज मेड ऑफ मैनेजर इकोनॉमिक्स, लेबर इकोनॉमिक्स, सोशल इकोनॉमिक्स, and then economics of discrimination, economics of agricultural economics. I told you behavioral economics also, political economics is also there. So these all branches together makes the subject called economics, quote and unquote. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Now, what are the tools for economic analysis? Tools. So what is meant by tools? तो tools क्या होते हैं? Okay. तो what are the tools? So this is your first tool, functional relationship. This is your second tool, schedules. This is your third tool, graphs. This is your fourth tool, equations. Okay, functional relationship. Now, what is meant by functional relationship? Okay, so functional relationship stands for the relationship between inputs and outputs. Okay, I told you about some factors of production: land, labor, capital, and entrepreneur. ये रट के ही रखना है, इसके अलावा कोई फैक्टर्स ऑफ प्रोडक्शन नहीं। दीज आर ओनली योर फैक्टर्स ऑफ प्रोडक्शन। रात में नींद में भी कोई पूछा ना कि भाई फैक्टर्स ऑफ प्रोडक्शन क्या होते हैं बताओ, यू हैव टू से लैंड, लेबर, कैपिटल, एंटरप्रेन्योर, दीज आर ऑल योर फैक्टर्स ऑफ प्रोडक्शन। और नाउ इनका जो फंक्शनल रिलेशनशिप होता है या फिर ये जब चार मिल जाते हैं ना, तो कोई एक नई चीज तैयार होती है। मोबाइल क्रिएट करना है आपको, मोबाइल का प्रोडक्शन करना है, तो लैंड, लेबर, कैपिटल लगेगा, ये सब मिलके मोबाइल लगेगा। टेक्नोलॉजी एक लगेगी, टेक्नोलॉजी एक अलग फैक्टर्स ऑफ प्रोडक्शन आएगा, ये हमने बोलकर नहीं चलना है। दैट इज योर टेक्नोलॉजी इज योर न्यू फैक्टर ऑफ प्रोडक्शन। ओके, सो ये फैक्टर ऑफ प्रोडक्शन बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है भैया आजकल। टेक ओके सॉरी टेक्नोलॉजी। ओके, तो टेक्नोलॉजी की बहुत बहुत बड़ा फैक्टर ऑफ प्रोडक्शन आजकल है। तो ये इन सब में क्या फंक्शनल रिलेशनशिप होती है, इनकी इनवर्स रिलेशनशिप होती है या फिर प्रोग्रेसिव रिलेशनशिप होती है, ये सब मिलकर बनाते हैं एक फंक्शनल रिलेशनशिप। ये भी इकोनॉमी का टूल है माइक्रो इकोनॉमिक के एनालिसिस के लिए। देन सेकंड इज, अभी अपन गए जाएंगे क्लॉकवाइज डायरेक्शन में, इक्वेशंस। नाउ व्हाट इज बाय इक्वेशंस? ओके, इक्वेशंस आर दोज मॉड्यूल्स by using them we decide our output level. Okay, तो इक्वेशंस सपोज ऐसे रहते हैं कि a x plus b y is equal to c. These are all your equations. Okay, अब भाई आप तुम लोग बोलोगे कि अरे इक्वेशंस क्या है ना, व्हाट इज बाय दिस इक्वेशन, और ये हमने कभी पढ़ेगा नहीं, तो वो भी पढ़ा देंगे भैया, डोंट वरी। अपन किस लिए पढ़ने के लिए, मैं किस लिए हूँ पढ़ाने के लिए हूँ, तो सब पढ़ेंगे, मिलके पढ़ेंगे, क्यों टेंशन लेते हो? ओके, तो ये इक्वेशंस होते हैं, ax plus by। नाउ x stands for your price, b a stands for your quantity, b stands for your commodity, y stands for your price, and c stands for your budget. Let's say this is the demand equation, तो ये सब मिलके इक्वेशंस बनते हैं। then there are some demand equation, then there are some supply equation, then there are some, यहाँ पे लिख देता हूँ, प्रोडक्शन इक्वेशंस। ओके, सो दीज आर ऑल इक्वेशंस। तो ये इक्वेशंस मिलके कुछ ना कुछ तो बनाते हैं भैया। ओके सॉरी, तो ये इक्वेशंस को आपको समझना पड़ेगा, इक्वेशंस को आपको जानना पड़ेगा। ओके, तो ये इक्वेशंस क्या करते हैं, इक्वेशंस आपको सिखाते हैं कि फंक्शनल रिलेशनशिप क्या होती है, आपको एक अंदाजा दे देते कि यार ये यूज करने से कितना फायदा होगा, या फिर ये यूज करने से हमको क्या मिलेगा, या फिर ये यूज करने से कंपनी को कितना फायदा होगा। ओके, देन देयर आर सम ग्राफ्स। ग्राफ्स आर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टूल्स ऑफ एनालिसिस। तो ग्राफ्स कैसे होते हैं मैं आपको बता देता हूँ। नाउ व्हाट इज मीन बाय ग्राफ्स? ओके, तो ग्राफ्स आर लाइक दिस ओनली। ओके सॉरी, आई हैव टू चेंज माय कलर। ओके, तो ग्राफ्स होते हैं, यार ये हाइलाइटर क्यों लिया मैंने, सॉरी सॉरी। ओके, तो ग्राफ्स आर लाइक दिस ओनली। ओके, आपने 10+2 में ग्राफ स्टडी किए होंगे, तो ग्राफ कुछ ऐसे होते हैं यार, ऐसे ऐसे, ये सब मिलके ऐसे ग्राफ होते हैं। ओके, तो ये होगी आपकी ग्राफ लाइंस, ऐसी देखी होगी ना आपने, ये ग्राफ लाइंस होती है, इसमें कुछ 0.5 का डिफरेंस होता है। तो ये मैं डिफरेंस आपको नहीं बताऊंगा, मतलब ये इतना डीपली नहीं बताऊंगा क्योंकि यू मस्ट हैव स्टडीड इन योर 10th क्लास ओनली। ओके, तो ये होता है, हो गया आपका ग्राफ पेपर। ओके, तो ग्राफ पेपर पे आपको निकालना है ग्राफ। तो हाउ विल यू ड्रा इट? लाइक दिस। ओके, तो दिस आर योर ग्राफ। तो अभी आपको अगर डिमांड का डालना है या फिर सप्लाई का डालना है, तो सप्लाई, दिस इज योर सप्लाई। ओके, इट इज इंक्रीजिंग अपवर्ड। ओके, तो यहाँ पे आपकी कुछ वैल्यू हो गई, समझो कि यहाँ पे 5 हो गया, यहाँ पे 10 हो गया, यहाँ पे अगेन 5 हो गया, यहाँ पे अगेन 10 हो गया। So these are your graphs. This is the tool of economical analysis. Okay, so you have to understand that the graphs helps us in understanding different modules, different equations, different concepts. Okay, uh, it's a very simple thing ki, like if you are watching a movie, you always remember its story. Okay, you are okay, तो लेट्स से टुमारो कोई मूवी आप देखने के लिए चले गए इस थिएटर में। ओके, तो यू विल रिमेम्बर इट्स स्टोरी फॉर years together, but tomorrow if you're reading a book, you will not remember that book for like nearly for a week only. Okay, but why? Because you get a pictorial analysis of that story through that movie. Here in graphs also we give you the pictorial analysis of that particular equations. Okay, now these are the schedules. Now actually I should have gone like this only, कि शेड्यूल्स पहले आते हैं, ग्राफ्स के पहले आते हैं शेड्यूल्स। शेड्यूल क्या होता है कि लेट्स से कि देयर आर टू वेरिएबल्स। ओके, पर्सन एंड डिमांड। ओके, तो इसमें मैंने डाल दिया एक ये। ओके, सॉरी। ओके, तो पहला पर्सन डिमांड करता है 10 की, दूसरा डिमांड करता है 20 की, तीसरा डिमांड करता है 30 की। ओके, तो ये सब मिलके बनाते हैं शेड्यूल, कि आपको एक डेटा दिया जाता है, डेटा। ओके, तो डेटा will make your schedule, and out of that schedule you will make your graph. Okay, so this is your tools, these are your tools of economical analysis, and I will tell you how to use them. Okay, I am here to tell you only, I am here to teach you only, I am here to help you only. Okay, whenever you need my help, you will you can ask me and I will help you. Okay, so this is your this was your, all about your first topic. Okay, so I hope that you understood it. Okay, अगर आपको नहीं भी समझ में आए तो you can ask me, you can contact me on this Gmail ID of mine. This is Saurabh Tipayale at kthmcollege.ac.in. This is my official Gmail ID. You can contact me here. You can ask me your queries. You can also ask your queries on your our FYBCom's economics, business economics telegram group or the WhatsApp group. Okay, so this was all about your first lecture. I hope you have enjoyed it. Okay, so just take care, stay fit, stay healthy. Okay, bye bye, Tata.